Hello everybody, welcome back. Please excuse my tired expression. It's not because I've been out all night partying, it's a little baby. She's wrecking me, she's absolutely wrecking me. But things that aren't being completely wrecked, I should say, is XRP at the moment. So let's have a little look at this, let's dive in a little deeper into this, alright? We'll work out if there's anything to it. Now, first of all, I should say that I'm not in any way bullish on it at the moment. Okay, so I'm just going to put that out there. So I'm not going to give you any kind of false expectations, like I'm sure lots of YouTubers do. All right, and I understand why they do that. They're trying to make money. They've probably got adverts running all the way through their videos, and they're trying to make loads of money. But that's not me. I have to speak the truth, and the reality is this: XRP has got some good aspects to this chart at the moment. It does have something about it. The first thing I would say is that when we broke down here significantly, massively, the last wick was bouncing exactly at the bottom of the accumulation zone. This is the very first accumulation zone from the 3-year downtrend, right? So with or without all this FUD that took place, the chart is still being respected. The next good thing about the chart is that we have recently recovered the center of the Bollinger Band on the daily, which is now upwards facing. So that's also another good sign. All right, that's good. We're below the 200 exponential and the green 50 exponential. I should say though, they are not crossed, so on the daily we don't actually have a death cross. And if we could just make our way above that 200 exponential, we would avoid that death cross. So really we just need to push a little bit more and stay above zones of 31.5 cent. Now if we go to the other time frames, we will have had these death crosses a long time ago, and you could argue that the time of this death cross, that being there, this wick, we could measure it here, but we could argue that is way more than any kind of death cross would ever yield. You normally look at about a 35% retracement, roughly speaking, from a death cross, and especially on a 4-hourly. Now this 4-hourly was a contrived death cross, but it was always going to take place, in my opinion. This is always going to have to come down to the 200 exponential, which is basically where we are at right now. So, with or without this whole madness going on, there is some good things about the chart, right? So one of the things I like to trade signals wise is something called the Ichimoku Cloud. If you go to my Patreon channel, I've done what I would consider an easy to understand tutorial on that. So it's exclusive just to Patreon users, but you can have a look at that. And one of the things it says, one of the ways you trade this is that if you ever have a conversion baseline cross, it's underneath the cloud, it's not a buy signal, it's a sell signal. Now we had a buy signal here, and it's beneath the cloud, but it is a cross all the same. So technically that could end up playing out in some form of bullish move, right? It's not a short, it would be a buy, but you wouldn't trade that because we're beneath the cloud. If that took place above the cloud, it would spark a continuation, almost, not certainly, but a very strong chance of a continued uptrend from there. But when signals like this do take place, you can try to trade them, but this is far from a perfect signal. It's a very imperfect signal, but it's a positive cross all the same. It does, however, look like it's going to cross to the downside actually. So why am I talking about XRP at the moment? Is mainly because Ethereum is just gone below, but it's basically created an all-time high as of a few hours ago. So this could spark an alt season, and you could already argue that we are in an alt season already. And I've been saying to people that my plan would be to scale out of Bitcoin and into alts at this level here, which was the top of the resistance zone, multi-year, resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. And we broke out of this channel, so we always knew we were going to push up to that level. But yeah, I scaled into altcoins from here, and I'm still mainly holding altcoins. There's no real reason to buy Bitcoin back until we get a significant bounce, which could take place on this zone here, which is the 64.6 roughly dominant. But the way that this is going, and if this Ethereum were to continue to push higher, and it brought some of these other coins with it, especially XRP and EOS, some of these top cap coins, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Bitcoin SV, all the top, Chainlink. You see where I'm coming from. The market cap would really see a giant rotation, and then what happens is it's like a a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a snowballing effect, and this the lower this goes, the more money goes into altcoins as there is more and more momentum taking place. At the moment, you can argue that we have started to roll down the hill. Since we broke down here, the snowball is rolling down the hill, but it's not picked up the pace yet. But it's certainly rolling. It's definitely rolling. There is a bump, that we could stop at here. But if this breaks down, I'd pretty much I would pretty much say that altcoins are going to have probably the biggest run as far as market cap that they've ever had in history. But we're not there yet. Like I say, this is the bump in the road that could stop that snowball from picking up pace. But I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt. The way that it's looking at the moment, it is looking pretty bearish as a chart, and that's what I like. And all we need now is some of these old top cap coins to start to pick up pace. Ethereum, Chainlink, EOS, XRP, XLM, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, if they can all just pick up pace from here, it's just going to be phenomenal. So I don't believe this is dead. We do have this buy signal here, but I'm not willing to play it. We're beneath the 200 and the 50 exponential, but if we were to reclaim these and prove that these are support, especially the green 50 exponential, there is absolutely every chance that we start to go making big moves all over again. The odds are against us, I have to say, because of you call it what, the zeitgeist, the overshadowing of this whole scenario. But I have to say, it's picked up better than I expected it to. It didn't make any lower lows from here, and that is not that is a decent place for it to have made that bounce. It's not just out of nowhere. That corresponds to the bottom of the accumulation zone. If it had broken down beneath there, you could have written XRP off as dead. But because it's bounced from there significantly, and it's now actually above the 200 exponential, we could be looking at a smaller period of accumulation than most of us expect. But accumulation does take time. I would monitor this one. I would keep looking at it. I'd see how it performs. And if we start to reclaim these two here, get into areas about 35 cent or so, then I would be pretty interested in it all over again. Volatility has clearly come into this way more than most people expected. Now I have to say I did expect these sort of moves to happen this year, although they were a little bit early. This one I didn't expect to happen until around about January, but it did happen, and people were calling me all kinds of silly names. XRP is dead, blah blah blah. It's well, that's open to interpretation at the moment. But as far as the market cycle, prior to these moves, I did anticipate these. So I do look at XRP, consistently, and I wasn't saying anything that I didn't believe in. And I don't say things because I think it's going to take over the world or it's going to, be used by banks around the world. I don't say anything. I rarely often look at any kind of fundamental value to any of these tokens. I simply look at charts, and especially long ones like this where they have years worth of historical price action and a market cycle. Then it's easier to predict what is likely going to be the outcome in the long term. And as far as I'm concerned, at the moment the market cycle is still very much intact. We may be in here for a few more weeks, maybe even months, but the market cycle is certainly intact. So so long as we don't break down phenomenally, I'm okay to say that XRP is okay to continue to complete its market cycle. And if that is the case, my bottom target would be around about $4, and my top target, you don't want to hear about that. It's pretty big, but between $4 and $6 would be my exit point. Now this all depends on how it looks at the time, but when you hear that, that's my interpretation of this chart, which basically means it's over a 10x from here. It's basically a 20x if we did the top target of $6. That's a 20x from here. I'll probably get a lot of negative comments on here, and that's fine because it's difficult for people to imagine, and I don't blame you. It takes it takes a bit more than just looking at this chart and listening to me rabbit on about something to understand what it is that where I'm getting those figures from. But I have made a XRP market cycle video, and I tried to make it short and sweet, but informative. So I'll leave the video at the end of this video for you to watch, and then you can make up your own decision. And bear in mind, I didn't know that there was going to be a FUD, a SEC FUD, or whatever you want to call this, but I don't really even think that should even be accounted for too much at this moment in time, because as far as that video analysis is concerned and the moves that I was expecting to see, even though the timings have been slightly moved ahead, the moves are more or less what I'd expect. I did expect a big move and a massive retracement, which is what we've got here, and I would expect the same thing to happen with XRP a few times, at least one more time this year, before it finally reaches its massive parabolic move and doesn't stop and doesn't decline. But again, this is no way in any means financial advice, so don't take anything that I say without doing your own research before investing in anything, because I'm not a financial advisor, so it's just my take on this situation, and I have to say I've studied it reasonably in depth, so I'd urge you to watch that video. And also be very careful investing in something like this, where there is a big, nasty grey cloud above it at the moment. Or should we say a nasty red Ichimoku cloud anyway. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.